Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Feeders, a very strange horror comic written by Shane Hawks and drawn by Mike Allred. This is interestingly enough, this is a tie-in to a movie that I've never heard of, and I don't think anyone else has ever heard of. This movie right here, Eyes to Heaven, which came out in 1999 as well. This comic came out then as well. It was a horror movie made by this Shane Hawks guy, and Michael Allred produced it. This is like a prequel comic they made. Michael Allred thought it would be a neat idea to make a comic tie-in with the movie, and Shane Hawks decided not to just adapt the movie, but to do like an interesting little prequel story that could kind of stand on its own, even though the plot is very nebulous and strange. But sometimes that works for horror, where you don't quite know what the hell's going on and it's extra creepy. As we can see, Mike Allred does all the art, does this cover. It's obviously Mike Allred. And it's interesting that Mike Allred, he's kind of known for Madman, which is very lighthearted, and a lot of his superhero work is kind of lighthearted. He's really good at horror. There's some imagery in here that's just fucking spooky and creepy as hell. I love this little title page here with these eyes just peering out of all blackness. And we begin. I'm going to do my best to try to explain this story. It's kind of weird. It's almost it reminds me a lot of like something like Carnival of Souls or something, but actually way more scarier and gnarly. We see this nun character, just this little interesting thing and then she's covered in blood. So we see this nun praying to God. She's begging forgiveness for her sins. She has this weird crucifix that's a knife that she wears around her neck. She's praying to a crucified figure that looks like a mummy. Such an interesting image. So someone comes in and asks the sister to meet with one of Dr. Lang's patients. And we see, this is the first time we see the Feeders. And they're basically just ghosts / demons that are around us all at all times. So she meets with Dr. Lang's patient. He's an artist, he's drawing. It could be Mike Allred, I don't know. And the nun says, Dr. Lang told me about your unique accident. Is there anything you want to talk about? And she asks him to stop drawing, but he's like, hey, I finally have something interesting to draw. He's drawing her. So the nun leaves his room, and she starts fading. And she says, no, not now. She actually walks right through this door, because she's almost spectral. She goes through this door into another patient's room. Looks like this guy is on his last legs. And she says, I need your soul. And she kind of sucks his soul right out of his mouth. And she's solid again. So I guess Dr. Lang's patient, after the nun left, he started freaking out. They had to restrain him. And he was yelling for her. So she says, I must pray with him. And now we see the Feeders are feeding on him. So basically Shane Hawks describes these Feeders, it's just some idea he had, where there's these ghost demons who are all around us at all times, and they feed off of us, our life force. And, that's why people get cancer and stuff. When they feed on you, they, take away your life. And the nun can see these creatures, and it's because she feeds on the Feeders. which I guess allows you to be able to see them. She, I don't know, sucks their spectral blood. It's kind of vague. So she says, take my blood, it will soothe your sin. I love the way he draws these little feeders, just like all sketchy. It almost looks like they're in another dimension. This scene is just, well, as a guy who grew up Catholic, this is strangely erotic to me. She cuts herself right above her bosom. She kind of pulls down her habit, and she basically suckles him. She says, drink to end the pain. And it seems to work. Now the feeders are like backing off. Well, not necessarily backing off, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. It seems like they're all around. And then it looks like, I'm not sure, it looks like they embrace and start kissing. Now I see the nun with, I believe this is a corpse of a woman. And she's telling her, like, your skin is so fair and white, your lips irresistible, your hair is so long and lovely. You're truly beautiful. She's dancing with her, putting on lipstick on her. Just so weird. This is some dark shit. She has some kind of weird, I don't know, flame device that, I guess, to light candles, maybe? And then she says, sleep well, my love. So that little incident, I have no idea what's going on. Maybe if I saw the movie, it would explain it. Though Shane Hawks does claim that this can stand alone. The nun left her strange crucifix knife with the patient. Now we see the nun praying again in the chapel, and the patient comes up. She pulls his bandage down over his eyes and kisses his forehead. Because he's drinking her blood, now he can see these feeders everywhere. So that's why he's so confused. And then all of a sudden we see that dead woman. And he's on top of her. And he says, this is you dead. This can't be happening. So now I'm totally confused. And then now we see him in his bed. Maybe this was a dream, a nightmare. Because his sister is visiting him in the hospital. She says, the nightmare's over, your sister's here. And he says, but last night seemed so real. So I guess it was a dream, or maybe a dream. And then the nun shows up and she says, I need to speak to your brother alone. She's clutching the knife so strongly, firmly, that she's bleeding. She's grabbing it by the blade. And the patient finally tells her why he's there, what led him to this. Basically, his whole life, he devoted to becoming a serious artist. It was a great way to meet artist models and have sex with them. So I guess he was a Lothario. But his true obsession was a sister. Every woman looked like her. Her image haunted him. All those women couldn't take the forbidden lust from his heart, so he started to punish himself. And this is that image we've been seeing. It's like a crown of thorns, but it looks like barbed wire. He made a crown of barbed wire. He thought it would cleanse him. But I guess he lost too much blood. That's why he's in the hospital. He almost died. He says that his sister is the only one who can take the pain and the demons away. It just seems to make the nun mad, maybe? She's angry. She stabs the knife into the desk, into the end table there. Sorry, desk of the page, no. Near the bed. And this could be another dream sequence, I'm not sure. But we see the nun. Now she is being lit afire by that weird candle lighter. The flames consume her soul. And it looks like that dead body, which is actually her, is doing it. And she's a feeder. And now we see, all of a sudden, it's the patient's room. And it looks like the sister has her clothes off. And she's saying, I've waited so long for this. Like they're going to have sex. And then that feeder, who is the nun, she comes in and says, no. She starts strangling the sister, screaming, I'm not going to hell alone. And it looks like she's starting to feed on the sister, suck her soul. You know, I didn't even point this out, guys. This is, I don't know how, from this scene on, we see these feeder hands off panel, almost like showing how they're from another dimension. They can't get into the reality of the panels, but they're on the outskirts, you know, a dimensional wall. So back to where I was. So the patient slashes the throat of the feeder, the nun feeder, saves his sister's life. And then all the feeders show up and they attack the nun. This is just gruesome. This is just so frightening. It's like a very scary zombie scene. They're eating her. It looks like they're defiling her. The feeders devour their own. The whole time the brother and sister are just sitting, holding each other, crying, like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? See, like Michael Allred, look, he's so good at this. This is really terrifying to me, the way he draws these feeders. Does a weird little computer effect here, stretches everything out. And the brother says, I'll take care of you. And then it just says, forsaken, forsaken, as the feeders eat all of the guts of the nun. They're eating her intestines. And that's it, guys. I know this is very odd, but there's something about it, the way they don't explain a lot of shit, that makes it almost more terrifying. Like certain movies I've seen where, if they explained it, it wouldn't be as scary. Sometimes it's that, you know, the quandary makes it better. Here's a little afterword by Shane Hawks, the writer, basically talking about what I was telling you. And I kind of want to see this movie now, because if it's like 1/10 as scary as this shit, it might be a good horror movie. And that's it for Feeders. Very small comic. I don't think they ever made any more comics in this universe or whatever. But just an odd little comic, published by Dark Horse in 1999. And just very kind of weird project for Mike Allred. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing he would do. But he did. And I'm glad he did, because he's got a flair for horror. This is some creepy stuff. Hope you guys like looking at this with me today. And I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.